man. How you doing, bro? Good to see you, man.
It's good to see you too, man.
Yeah,
Like,
appreciate you tapping in, bro. I've been wanting to do this a couple, since I announced it, man. I'm so busy doing so many things, man. We
yeah,
father, we wear so many hats, and so we do a lot, bro. But yeah, man,
yeah.
I appreciate you. Just staying tuned in, man, and see the vision of what I'm trying to do with this community. 'Cause I definitely want to put the time in when I can to talk about what needs to be talked about. And yeah, man, I definitely really wanted to get you involved uh, for a while now, ever since you jumped in, man. Because I feel like we got a couple things we could talk about, especially now. Like we
Oh
fathers,
yeah.
it's just like it's the timing, man. I know we weren't really like close like that in high school, bro. But like I see how you moving, bro. So I respect it, man. So again, bro, appreciate you.
I
Um,
appreciate it, man.
yes,
I'm
sir.
I'm I'm happy with everything you got going on. You know what I'm saying? Like we come a long way.
Yes, sir.
Basically, like you know where we come from, and
Yeah, exactly.
like
It's just,
you know.
I mean, just jumping into it, man. Well, first, let me go ahead and do introductions and everything. I'm True Tate. This is the 2-4 family community. We appreciate you guys tapping in. This is the discussion that we have wanted to get going, and we're talking about it now. It's a necessary discussion. What it means to be a new age father, man. Just as humans, we have gone through in our lifetime a lot of change and evolution. Seeing a lot of things that's going on in this wild, wild world, man. Sometimes we don't have the plan right. Sometimes we just gotta go with the motion, and then God presents us with right opportunities, and we just allow Him to move through us, man. But we all have similar situations we come across, similar milestones we come across, or obstacles we had to come across that doesn't get talked about, and so we have to just grow up and go through it. Especially as men, you know what I mean. We go through
Mm,
a lot of things. Nobody guides us on how to, or gives us the tools. You know what I mean. Talked about a little about what we do. Uh, I just want to jump straight into it, man. I'm gonna
what's
just
up?
ask you, what is it? What does it feel like? What was that first feeling like of when you first looked at you have daughters, right?
I couldn't fully like understand the moment because it felt so surreal,
Yeah.
and I'm just blessed she came out healthy and strong. Everything ended up being all right, and
Mm.
when I first held her, man, it just felt like, this is someone I created, and
Yeah, it's wild, right?
it gave me a different
Did,
feeling.
did she
Yeah,
look back into your eyes? I have a photo actually. My son, what my firstborn son, looking into his eyes, and he looking right into mine, and like, yo, that like
yeah,
I'm still like it's so surreal, bro. At that moment, I knew like I already had like the fatherness within me, but like at that moment, I knew.
mm,
Oh, I'm gonna take care of this boy for the rest of my life. Like I'm ready for it.
yeah.
Even like being brought the news, bro. Like how was that for you? Man, I gotta get my stuff together. I gotta
You gotta do
that's
this,
what I
that.
did. I was like, I gotta read all these books, man, and get myself prepared.
Figure out what I gotta do.
Exactly,
And
exactly. Bro. What was that like for you, bro?
then I just had to make sure, she was good. And because, she might, at the end of the day, she my teammate. So if my
Yeah,
teammate not good, then
right.
it's not gonna work.
God gave me somebody, brought somebody into my life that was already so secure in herself. I already knew that our children would be taken care of mentally. How do you deal with the daily stresses of
You gotta be able to get yourself back on track because you can't always depend on somebody to get you in a better place. You know what I mean?
right?
Like growing up as a man, it's like sometimes your feelings don't matter. You know?
Right. We
Yeah.
probably couldn't even have this conversation maybe going 5, 6, 7 years back, man. Like we in a time
Hmm.
now where everybody's talking about their feelings and
Yeah,
being
yeah.
open about their emotions and being emotionally intelligent. Like that's a
Right.
huge thing that I feel like as a man that every man needs to learn to be that, or having coping mechanisms, having
Hmm.
knowing how to react to certain situations, and even having a daughter. Like my second born was a daughter, man. That changed the whole game for me. Like yo.
Yeah.
Like I said at first, because my son was born first, and I was like, okay, you know what I'm saying? Like having a boy,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
push him around a little bit. It's cool, right? And then having a daughter, like that's when it really slowed me down. Like, what?
Mm.
I need to be on my A game. I need to be a better man and check myself as a man.
We can dwell on the things we feel like we're doing wrong as a parent, but at the end of the day, like as if we focus on fixing the things that we feel like personally we need to fix,
Mm,
then the parenting is just it's just gonna come natural. It's just gonna come easy. Everything's just gonna fall into place if
mm.
we focus on fixing us for the family.
So my partner's not feeling 100%. She's like at 20%. I'd be that other 80.
Yeah.
It's like a method I'll do is I don't necessarily meditate, but breathing exercises for me is crucial. I have one thought at a time. I'm able to
Oh yeah.
process what's going on around me. If my kids are running around going crazy, I can still, you know what I'm saying? I can find peace in any circumstance. I'm already just a naturally level-headed person, but you know what I'm saying? Kids can get you
Yeah,
there
yeah.
sometimes. You'll be like,
Oh yeah.
do it, man. Like,
Cross that line.
yeah, it be like I be telling my like we're doing a great job. And we raise our kids on our own. We don't nobody watches our kids. I guess it's just us.
Mhm.
She a stay-at-home mother. I work, I come home, I support where I can, and like we just do it that. It's like I gotta remind her like we are like already ahead of the game. Like for us to be in a situation and still maintain, like,
But one thing that I've really tried to hone in on is my dreams because
mm,
I feel like when we're in a dream state, that's when our subconscious comes to play.
yep,
The more I can remember my dreams and try to understand them or try to figure them out, the more I can understand myself. And the more I try to understand myself, in order to understand myself, I have to understand why I am the way that I am. Question that, like, why does this make me feel this way? Because
mm-hmm,
when I understand that, it gives me more clarity of the situation. It helps me like navigate certain situations a lot easier. And it
mm-hmm.
just that's just one thing that's been helping me out a lot.
Like I woke up this morning and I just was still, I was very present. And so it's like that's that subconscious because you're waking up, you're leaving from that subconscious. And I was just very
Yep,
present
yep.
and still. And there's a peace to that. And I was like, yo, if I can just transcend that throughout the day, like that feeling of
Hmm.
being at a peace and level headed and present, like you're not thinking about what you need, you know. I mean, some people wake up and they're on go, right? But like this morning
Oh
was
yeah.
for me, you know, we're human. We have those mornings like that. I mean, like I have those mornings sometimes, but this morning was different. I had a lot already on my plate on my mind, but not in that moment. When I woke up, it was like nothing was going on. I sat there and I appreciated that, and I kind of meditated on that, and I was like, "Yo, this is the feeling I want to feel all the time." I'm gonna call flow state. Like there's days,
Yeah, yeah.
and mentally, I'm able to like speak on a level that you know, maybe God moving through me or something. It's a forever journey learning that subconscious and be in a place where we can control both.
So my dad actually he wasn't really in my life as much as well. You know, Kia's dad, he was a big when I was young, like he was a big role model in my life, and I used to like pick up on certain things he did. I used to watch him just randomly do like nice things for people, and I
Yeah,
used to like, and for some reason, it just stuck with me. So now it translates into like the things that I do. John Adams, um, he's just one of those guys who like would do anything for anybody, and
yeah.
uh, he's just one of the people that I see as one of my biggest role models at this time at this point in time. Once you get older, you start to realize a lot more. But when you're
Mm,
younger, you just like you pick up on certain things, maybe positive or negative, and
right.
it just sticks with you.
My mother was, you know, mom and dad in the situation and just seeing how she held everything down. So that was,
Hmm.
you know, like, okay, I'm dedicated to making sure my mom, because she could have backed down. There were times where it was tough for us and she could have thrown in the towel, but she didn't. So I learned my
Yep.
perseverance. But like Taekwondo as a kid, and I still take elements and learning lessons that I learned from that. It taught a lot about perseverance, you know, determination and a lot of like just sports in general. I feel like at an early age for me really did a lot mentally. Seeing my mom give and you know, I always have a plate for my friends or like, you know, being open to share what we have, even if we didn't have much. She was always like that as well. After high school, going like 20s, like I was
Hmm.
nuts, bro. Like I don't know, bro. I can't speak for that time. But you know, coming back
Yeah.
coming back and so I was just around the wrong energy. I'll just say that. And I was being
Yeah.
stirred in my energy. And so I just, you know, brought it back around full circle to myself. Started diving more into myself. 2020 really was crucial for me. I got to sit down, the world was still, everything was still, and I got to really dive into myself in a way. Spiritually, God spoke to me.
Being there, COVID, like we were just getting into COVID, so everything was kind of like still up in the air, and everybody just trying to figure everything out. But
Right.
at the end of the day, I still have my family to take care of, so
Yeah.
I'm just trying to do everything I can. At that point in time, I was still struggling with like certain issues that I had personally, like because I didn't understand myself to the full extent. So like 2020 through even like up until 2022, like I was still in my bad ways, man. I was,
Yo, like my daughter gets into anything. Like my son,
yeah.
he had his little face, but my daughter, like you can't leave nothing on her. I leave a cup, she grab it.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? As soon as
It's
I
hers.
see something, as soon as I notice something, she's already on it. I'm like, God,
Hmm.
like I try not to yell to my kids. Sometimes I do, man. Like,
Yeah,
but
yeah. Sometimes.
you know what I'm saying? Good. I learned that it's still impactful to, you know what I'm saying? You could set that tone with them, like put that down. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah. You gotta be able to set healthy boundaries, just not like go too far and go off on the deep end. You know what I mean? You still gotta be able to control yourself while setting those boundaries. Think about us like we basically grew up together.
yeah,
We went on our separate paths and we came back and circled around onto the same journey. Like it was always meant to be. Like,
everything was meant to be, bro. Like I think I'm being everybody that I come across in my life, I know that I'm meant to have them in my life, bro. It's a strange thing that I had
hmm
terms with, whether we had moments together or not. Sometimes that's necessary to not even be dealing with somebody in a certain area.
I remember my dreams, and then I can get to the point where I'm actually conscientious in my dream.
Because that subconscious is linked to the ether, man. That ether is what connects
Yeah,
all, right? So that's why
yeah,
sometimes
man.
we have dreams. Like my lady and her family, when they have a dream about somebody being pregnant, somebody ends up being pregnant. It don't matter who it wasn't a dream. It just means, you know what I'm saying? Like dreams, truly
Yeah.
messages, and you can truly link up with people in dreams.
Oh
Like
yeah.
whole other realm on a spiritual level. Like
You
you're
tap into it.
pulling from that, like you're pulling from God. You're tapping into source. You are already your higher self. You're just trying to remember how you felt as a child, bro. Like just that right there, your subconscious was moving smooth. You know what I mean? You're not
Hmm.
stressing about what's going on here or there. You can actually just be present, be getting back into how I felt as a child and remembering whether I do that through my dreams or just having conversations of childhood, having discussions about childhood trauma, things like that. And just like growing from it and then being able to like reintroduce myself to my inner child.
At the end of the day, you doing that, that helps you like have more patience for your kids, like have more
And
understanding.
that part.
Like it helps you be a
I
better
was gonna
parent.
bring it around, bro. Like I'm able to have more fun with my children when I feel like I'm a child with them. You know what I'm saying? And they
Hmm.
they reciprocate that the same way. Our children are a reflection of us. I can set whatever I got going on to the side and be with them. Their
Yeah.
imagination is wild, and like I can rediscover that with my kids. So it's figuring out new pathways to relate to our children, right? Because they're
Hmm.
truly smarter than us, bro. Because they,
Bro, what?
man, what they know shit we don't.
Your kids teach you just as much as you're gonna teach them,
Exactly. Because then you teaching them
if not
something,
more.
then they pick up on something you doing that you probably shouldn't be doing.
Hmm.
Like that's just one example.
Yeah.
Act a certain way, and you
Yeah.
just like me the other day.
Like that.
The father daughter relationship is so dynamic, bro. Like it's very it balances you. Be that masculine figure, but you're allowing that feminine side to move through you as well. Masculinity is under attack, at least in this country. Like there's a lot of, not to knock any of the feminine energy is necessary, completely necessary. I believe we need a woman,
Hmm.
man's need a woman, and a woman need a man, but there needs to be a respect in between both, right? Um, but what do you feel like is a huge issue in today's society when it comes to masculinity?
Right now, we're trying to take what we know from the generations before us on what the concept of masculinity actually looked like. And back then, like a long time ago, it was, you the provider of the home, you bring the income. Maybe you don't spend as much time with the kids, but you still play your part a little bit.
Mm,
But now we're in this like realm where it's like people don't understand that in order to balance out masculinity, you also have to have a certain amount of feminine to balance yourself out. It's not like men should be all masculine.
mm,
Whatever your opinion of what masculinity is, you can't only be that. You have to tap into that feminine side because that's how you relate to people in the world. You know what I'm saying? Why do you think why do you think most of the nurses and caretakers are women? Because they can relate to people. They can take care of them and
Past couple 100 years of what just masculinity has, done over top of just, feminine, like wars and, just like all the
yeah,
like men belittling women and just the whole history of, the man is on top and, we run everything. Like it's just the whole
hmm
scenario is being toppled down, I feel like, in today's age.
yeah,
And it can go two directions, right? It can go in the direction of, the feminine energy is trying to overtake, like, oh, the women are in power now. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, I mean,
yeah,
have if it goes through, we're about to have the first woman president. You know what I'm saying? So,
hmm
just a whole lot of feminine energy around, trying to overtake what the man provides and shit.
hmm
The government loves seeing the man out of the household.
Oh yeah.
We can get into that as well, dog.
Yeah, they don't need a lot of women to be a masculine man. You know, being masculine is about understanding yourself, your having a certain amount of emotional intelligence
Mm,
to be able to control yourself
yeah,
in certain situations. Like if women feel like women got to a point where they feel like they're
you gotta take charge.
being
Then you've
yep.
done
So
something wrong.
now it's their turn. They're gonna take charge and be less understanding about men. So that's kind of the direction we're heading in. The pendulum always swings too far, but at the end of the day, we all need each other. Right?
Masculinity is uh aspects of leadership, being disciplined. Um, because it's like, you know, being from going from a boy to a man, like what are the most fundamental things that you have to learn? It's just like, taking charge in your own actions, being accountable for your own actions.
hmm
Men need to stop talking so much on certain things too, like these females.
Yeah. Yeah. Look. Yeah. We need to shut up and listen.
Just do, like God told us to just do. There's a lot of talking and not doing. Whether that's a negative feature, where talking bad on others. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm a true believer of what you do in this world comes back to you, cause and effect. You know what I'm saying? Polarity, how you gonna
Oh
look.
yeah.
We need to be held accountable for how we move. And if you're gonna talk bad about somebody, expect that to come back to you in some type of way. Intention, because everything is intent. So what are your
Yep.
intentions? Lack of self. Let me put it in that way. Some people have a lack of self where they need others, and so they're not giving anything in return. There's no equivalent exchange going on. You know what I'm saying?
hmm
We can't create light together like we doing with these conversations, because I know in the back of your mind you may have some animosity, or you may have something that you haven't dealt with from your past or from whoever, whatever you have going on, and you don't have enough. Men just need to be upfront about how they feeling about currently.
hmm To me, it's like a little bit of both. Like you have to try to be upfront about how you're feeling and the things that you want or the things that you're looking for. But you also have to make sure you're in the right space to do that because if you get
Yes,
in the wrong space
exit
and
when
just live in love and be present, you know what I'm saying? Like that's the place that where I want to be.
the only way people can truly be in that space is if they done that shadow work, or if they're okay with being their self, if they're okay with loving, if they have self-love for self. Like,
hmm
I know everybody's not in a perfect state where they have this amount of self-love, but let that be known, you know what I'm saying? Or let it be
Yeah.
known in a way that doesn't adhere to anybody else. I think it's just necessary for people to sit on their own thoughts. Like,
You can't live life for other people. Then you're not really living. You're just literally on airplane mode because you're worried about what other people think of you. And the worst part about it is our society. That's literally where we're headed. Like it's so hard to like not get in that space when the majority of people are. You know what I mean?
what are you addicted to? Saying
hmm
people are people have needs and wants. I'm on a journey too right now where I'm disassociating, bro. Like, do I really need and want this? Do I really need, like, I'm being in that present journey, like what is currently in front of me, and understanding, again, this is how the universe works. The universe is not going to give you what is not for you. So if you don't
Oh
already,
yeah.
you can't receive what's not yours.
Yep. You
And
get
so,
what you put out.
exactly, you get what you put out, and that's all there is to it, man. Everybody's moving like, I need this, I need money for rent. It's like
mm,
if you just allowed yourself to be in a space where you already know that you have that value in you to you know what I'm saying, receive what God
yeah,
if God didn't put us here to suffer. Like I didn't put us here to struggle. Yes, there's systems in place that will try to adhere to that, but you know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, you gotta have that masculine energy and say enough is enough. Whether you struggling, like I know what struggle is. Like I know, like you know what I'm saying. I'm not in a place where I know I could probably have more or whatever, but it's not about that. As long as I'm being
mm,
present, I know it's going to come to me. Manifesting is not believing; it's knowing. Like that's the sole
yeah.
difference.
It's knowing.
It's
Yeah,
knowing. You know what I mean? We have a lot of belief systems in our society. You know what I mean? It's not just believing. Like, yeah, I believe that this table could break. Is it gonna break? You know what I'm saying? There's no saying. Like,
but if I know it's gonna break,
no,
and
is
I'm
it?
gonna break it,
I'm gonna get
break
this
it.
laptop right now, man. But what are some other main things that you know that may become a problem if you don't check it?
Yeah. I think the most major problem that I used to have was being able to control my temper. Because like I used to when I was growing up, my mom used to snap all the time. You know what I'm saying? And I just took that on. Like it just came with it. But
It's
over time, like yeah, over time I had to realize like how it's not only like how it's affecting me, but like how it's affecting the people around me. Like I don't want to traumatize my kids the way that I feel like I was traumatized as a kid.
But the way my mom raised, she was the same way. She was snappy, you know what I mean? But she was also stressed. She was a single mother, handling all the bills, handling
Hmm.
all the stuff, and like, yo, it's like it was a different.
Yeah,
Like, I mean,
yeah, yeah,
again, like we weren't having these conversations back then. Like, I appreciate that era for what it was. Like, what my mom, early 2000s and 90s, like how that checking our anger. I mean, I feel like there's a lot of men that you know what I'm saying we gotta do that as a collective of men. Like we get temper, it's just like we snap like not that you trying to be I'm the head of the house or everything I say go.
hmm,
Like, we human, we you know what I'm saying, we emotional too, and how our emotion comes out sometimes is you know all right, this has to this it has to end. Like whatever's going on in the situation.
yeah,
I'm in this
yeah,
situation. This is what's happening. And sometimes, again, that's necessary. But I'm learning too. I had to learn the same thing. Um, was there doesn't have to be so much emotion behind it. It's just like you know what you got to do, and not letting things brew up. For me, I would have that problem, letting things
yeah,
too chaotic in a situation. Because again, I'm chilling laid back, and then I'll be like,
yeah,
I got to step in. No, it's like I
yeah.
can be proactive on a situation. That was something I had.
Hmm.
My biggest thing too, man, is getting up at night when they crying. Man, let me tell you, bro, I did not want to do it.
Yeah.
I don't mess with my sleep, bro. I already had like sleeping problems and stuff like that. So it's like, yo,
I literally had to come up with a system, bro. Like we had to just agree to a system because
bro,
otherwise she would just feel bad. She would just feel like she had to get up, and I'd be comfortable, like sleeping, feeling good. Um, but then it got to a point where like resentment will probably start to build, and you kind of want to nip that in the bud as soon as possible. So we had to come up with some type of like, even if she's still getting up the majority of the reasons, I'm still getting my ass up at some point. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Just to take the load off a little bit.
yeah, yeah. It got to that point too for me. Like I was like, all right, let me at least get up and
Hmm.
explain to them, like hold them and system and things like that. Because I can't. And you have daughters, so I relate now. Like hearing my daughter cry. Not that I have any, you know what I'm saying, like my son, like when he cries, you know what I mean, it'll be if it was for a very, very genuine reason, like or he's just having a troubled night, like yeah, I would, you know what I'm saying, I have my feelings for that. But like hearing my daughter cry is different, bro. Like, no, don't cry. Like, I don't want to hear that. Like I I I got better probably because of her. So yeah,
Yeah,
but yeah, that's at nighttime, bro. Like during the day, I'm good. I'll take care of my kids, but nighttime, bro, that shit's tough.
that like